Yo, my name is KarQ. Stadium in Overwatch is that new third-person mode, optional third-person mode where you get currency, make your build for your hero, and play 7 rounds and whatnot. Maybe you've seen some content on it on YouTube, maybe you haven't. Maybe you're confused about all the random stuff that you've been seeing. Is it out? Why are people playing it? Why aren't people playing it? Let me answer that for you here. A lot of people are playing in the playtest, myself included, and a lot of your favorite streamers. That's where you saw the content from, and about 5,000 public players, because about a month and a half ago, they put out a notice on, I think, on Reddit and maybe on their forums where they wanted 5,000 playtesters. A lot of people applied. The people who got to play it during that time were able to play it early, and then they get to play it right now 1 week before it officially releases on April 22nd, Tuesday, April 22nd, for the beginning of Season 16, around 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UTC. Overwatch has been releasing blog articles each day, kind of like breaking down the game mode, because it is a lot, and they made it into 4 parts, because literally if I sat there and read all 4 parts in one video, it would have been 45 minutes, and it would have been a little too early. And they released part 1 of the article a few days ago, which I covered in this video. We pop it up right here. And the rest of the 3-part series has finished today. And today I'm going to read to you section 2, 3, and 4. And they'll make a lot more sense if you actually watch a little bit of the gameplay through a streamer or through my channel, or we'll play it on B-roll right now on the side so you can kind of get a feel of what we're going through. Part 2, lessons learned from the playtest. Welcome to part 2 in our series on Overwatch 2's newest way to play, Stadium. Today we wanted to highlight what we improved upon since you last saw Stadium in the action in the Overwatch 2 Spotlight, which I did upload gameplay from there on this channel. You can see a lot of the polygon, no detail, no texture maps at that time. So after announcing Stadium as part of the Overwatch 2 Spotlight, we ran a closed alpha where thousands of players tried Stadium for the first time. We were incredibly excited by all the feedback we received. We addressed hundreds of bugs, made updated changes to balance, and added various quality of life improvements. We're so grateful for everyone who participated. The biggest takeaway for us was truly how much our testers actually played Stadium. Most players returned for at least 5 of the 7 4-hour sessions, and we couldn't have been more appreciative. The number one comment we heard was how much fun folks were having creating new hero builds. This was incredibly awesome for us to hear, as builds are what sets Stadium apart from the core game, as we all know. Instead of hero swapping, it's how you equip certain items and powers every round that drives the gameplay. Here's a screenshot of Soldier 76's armory. Next section, improving the player experience. As an early build, the playtest helped identify a few points of friction that we've since worked on. The feedback received helped us improve a variety of things, such as item and power balance issues, and some problematic builds that proved to be overly powerful. For example, playtesters discovered Cassidy was able to one-hit knock out 350 HP or more heroes and have the ability to auto-lock on with a critical hit. Yes, it was terrifying, but we got that fixed. We've also improved the variety of items you can buy and sell, including items that can help counter against powerful builds. So I won't lie, I did not play in the alpha. I was busy with the whole like Jam Slam Street Fighter 6 tournament in Japan. I've been playing Stadium the past 3 days. I played Cassidy like once or twice. I didn't think he was that strong, so I'm glad I missed out on that OP build. I made a build in the last 3 days, which I'll probably release next week. Maybe we'll show a little preview right here. I call this Dive Zarya because one of her powers allows her to fly to a teammate that she bubbles. I call it the reverse life grip. I'm gonna call this build the BBL, Big Bubble Lady. Yeah, you get 2, every person you bubble gets 2 bubbles, like it bounces onto another person, you can fly to them, you get crazy energy. Is one of the most fun builds I've done so far, and like that's the idea of Stadium. You basically go into the game, create some wacky fun shit, and I've been having a great time so far. Going back to the article, the mercy rule. During these playtests, we had a mercy rule set, so if a team won the first 3 games in a row, the match ended early. However, we quickly came to realize that sometimes a match isn't exactly a stomp even after the first 3 rounds. So we added a second condition before calling a match early. Now, if after a 3-0, the team leading has to have 15,000 Stadium cash or more than the trailing team, then the mercy rule will activate. Otherwise, at least 1 more round is played to give the trailing team a fair chance to reverse sweep. We'll be keeping an eye on the mercy rule and can tune it as needed in future updates. Our goal is to make sure every game has meaning while also not leaving players who are behind in a one-sided game from having to wait too long to be able to re-queue into a new match. I will say, guys, Stadium matches last anywhere between 15 to almost 30 minutes if it makes it to round 7. Pretty grueling, but if it's quick and short, most games end around round 5 or 6. It's not too bad. It's like a 15 to 25 minute game at most, which is pretty much on pace with a regular competitive Overwatch game. In my last, maybe I played like 50 Stadium games in the last 3 days, maybe more, and I've seen the mercy rule applied like 4 times where we absolutely stomped them, and then maybe once where our team got absolutely stomped. 15,000 stadium cash is a lot, by the way. It is a lot to build. That's more than like on average, each round, a team would gain like 6,000 to almost 12 to 15K if they're really doing really well. But most matches are close enough that the cash is somewhat balanced. And you get stadium cash in stadium by dealing damage, healing people, getting elims, winning the map, being the MVP on your team for that round gives you a bonus as well. A couple of more breakdown points that you'll probably get to see, but I don't want to overcomplicate these articles for people who haven't played it yet. It can be a little overwhelming. And so far it seems to be correct, where if we are up in a 3-round lead, and with that kind of a lead, I could tell the first 3 rounds were actually stomps. Like we were like 12-0, 15-0, because each round only lasts like a few minutes. You could definitely tell the other team wasn't having fun. I think the mercy rule is fine. So far it's been okay. I don't know if that needs any tweaking at this current time. So slowing down snowballs. Snowballing was an issue in some matches. Even with bounties on key targets, a team that was significantly leading could access their more powerful items faster than the team catching up. Now, the trailing team will have stadium cash boosts, plus teams earn increased passive cash throughout the match. It will still take extra effort to settle the score, but we hope this adjustment will prevent major snowballing. We're currently satisfied with the balance between all of our heroes, and we're ready to launch. However, we will be watching your games very closely and plan to react quickly if any given item, power, or hero build starts to become too weak or too powerful, so keep an eye out for balance updates. Guys, I just want to say I think Zarya and Junker Queen are the strongest 2 tanks in this build, but I might be wrong, because this is the thing with these kinds of builds, is that we're in a limited playtest. Like content creators plus like 5,000 alpha testers are playing right now. When you send this out to millions, people are going to come up with some wacky, wild builds. And if you guys come up with some crazy stuff that seems to be really valid, I really want to try them out, especially, and make some content out of it too. I'll be like trying your blind Genji build where you like, do some like reversed stuff. And also, I just want to say stadium builds can also like open up some very creative names. I called it the BBL for the Zarya, the big bubble lady. But I remember with the chat, we're kind of like theory crafting some fun names like Royal Rampage, Junker Queen. Or there's a Defense Matrix Diva build. I was going to call it Sliding in Your DMs, the Diva build, Anyways, whole new third-person perspective. Obviously, Stadium is a unique mode with a lot of things happening around your hero, making it harder to see everything while in the first-person perspective. For this reason, Stadium is set to default to third-person view. However, those who prefer to stay in first-person, looking at you, FPS purists, can switch to the first person in the game settings. Playing in third person has new elements on their reticle to indicate whether their hero is reloading or when their attacks are being blocked by line of sight. We've added a field of view slider, and players can assign a key binding to toggle which shoulder the camera overlooks. And of course, all of these can be customized for each of your favorite heroes. Okay, so to add some more context to this, blocking line of sight, you see this red X that automatically appears when you play in third person. When you reload, there's a green circle that shows up in the middle of your screen. And then when they say they added field of view sliders, I think the default is 60 FOV and the range is between 50 to 90. If you guys play on PC, 103 FOV is what most people play on, which is standard. But in third person, they defaulted it to 60 because if you stretch it any higher than 60, you get the fisheye lens. It's like your iPhone is on like the 0.6 camera. Everything starts zooming in and your legs get really, zooming out, and your legs get very long. I personally found I enjoy playing at 70 to 75 FOV. Again, their default is 60. So that's just my personal settings. If anybody was curious, when you do get access to the game, remember to change that slider. 50 FOV, the minimum, is way too zoomed in. I'm literally looking over their shoulder. And I found that I only like 2 heroes so far in third person. Zarya, I actually prefer first person for the rest of them. I would definitely also bind shoulder switching. It's like playing Rainbow Six, but it's without like the waiting and the camping. You can kind of like use your shoulder swap to kind of like third person peek over walls or around walls for more information depending on the hero you're playing. Really nice when I was playing Genji and looking for random flank because I played like a melee Genji build. Get your game plan ready. Stadium is around the corner and we can't wait to see all of you group up with your friends and jump in the game. We still have a lot of things we want to cover in the days ahead. Stadium is not just any mode for arcade. It's actually a permanent way to play Overwatch 2 alongside the core gameplay in unranked and competitive. Stay tuned as we're planning updates for every season with more heroes, maps, items, and powers. The next article came out the day after, part 3 in our series on Stadium. This one is called Develop a Power Strategy. Okay, so they're basically breaking down how Stadium works. Each hero will have 12 powers to pick from. You select a new power ahead of rounds 1, 3, 5, and 7. So when you start the game, and every other round after that. That means if the match lasts until the 7th and final round, you will have unlocked 4 powers. Powers typically complement an ability, weapon, or aspect of your hero's kit, and choosing powers that complement each other can really open up new possibilities. So for example, if you look at the screenshot here, Kiriko can duplicate herself using the clone conjuration to attack in 2 places at once. Mei can roll into battle by powering up her cryo freeze with colder. Diva literally turns the floor to lava with every use of her boosters, enhanced with the ignition burst power. The choices and combinations are nearly infinite, but understanding how powers complement one another is a key factor for winning. So if we look at the screenshot here, let me read you guys clone conjuration. After using Swift Step, create a clone of yourself that lasts for 5 seconds. You can only pick one of these on round 1, but then by round 3, I would personally pick, if you started with this, I would pick Fleetfoot next. We'll zoom in, where it says Swift Step can now be used directionally without a target. So you don't have to have a target, you just pick a spot on the ground and you press the Swift Step and you'll teleport to it, but you'll also generate a clone thanks to your first power. And remember, powers are permanent, and you can see in the screenshot round 1, 3, 5, 7. You have 6 item slots. Those can be swapped, sold, and repurchased and swapped up every round, provided you have the cash. Next part here, spend wisely on items. So where powers support you in a unique way, items are the ones that give you the means to adapt to the evolving battle with a variety of interchangeable updates. Unlike powers, items can be sold for the same amount of stadium cash you initially spend on them, meaning you'll be able to utilize your entire budget to adapt your strategy every round. So usually when a game starts, the game will give you 3,500 stadium cash, and you can only buy some of the commons, the greens, and they only cost 1,000. But after round 1, you tend to make like 6,000 or 7,000 cash. And what I've done sometimes is, like, as soon as round 2 starts, I actually resell my first 3,000 to get 3,000 cash back, use the 7,000 I gained and buy an epic, about a 10,000 cost item right away, because a lot of them have unique properties that like make the build really good. That's just a KarQ take, and just a general stadium thing that I've noticed that a lot of players do, myself included. When you look for items, items are organized in 3 categories. You have weapon, ability, and survival. Weapons are great for upgrading heroes whose gameplay is heavily focused on their weapons, such as Cassidy or Widowmaker. Ability is great for heroes who depend on cooldown abilities like Orisa, Mei, or Moira. Survival is great for nearly all heroes, but support heroes like Mercy or Ana might opt to stay alive longer if they get caught by an opponent. When equipping items, you can open the stats panel to see how strong your hero has become with each item equipped, including total health, attack speed, cooldown reductions, and more. Items will also have different tiers organized into common, which is green, rare, which is blue, and epic, which is purple. I know in this article they kind of like list out what they would do if their gameplay is focused on their weapon, etc. But this is the thing about Stadium, guys, is that you can change your build no matter what hero you are. So if you guys played League, you can do like AP Renekton or AP Zed, because is there something that can scale with AP? I don't know. But every hero can kind of scale with anything. So for Reinhardt, you could just opt for full survival tank items, or I've done the full ability power Reinhardt build, and it made my Fire Strike do like almost one-shot them, 500 HP. My charge one-shot like 700 HP, for example. And I think my Fire Strike also did like 500, and it dropped lava. Or you could go for weapon Reinhardt, so the hammer swings do more. You see what I mean? Someone like Zarya as well, upgrading her weapon makes her laser and her secondary fire stronger, but ability actually made her bubbles like ginormous and like super hard to break. So everything scales differently. Common items will be the most affordable, providing a small buff to one of your different stats. Use common items in the early part of the game, or to just round off your budget for any open slots you may have left. Yeah, sometimes when you buy some purples and you have like 2,000 cash left for the round, you can't really buy any of the rares because they cost anywhere between the 3,000 to 6,000. Round out some commons to kind of fill up some slots, because you might as well, because you get to sell them again later, right? The rare items give your stats a significant boost, and you'll be able to start affording at least one rare item right after your first round. You can equip rare items to round out all aspects of your hero stats, or just put emphasis in one aspect of their kit for a high risk, high reward style of gameplay. And then epics, which are purples, are the most expensive and will only come into play later in the rounds in a close match. You equip epic items to either boost your power strategy or to counter an opponent's build. Most items will be available for multiple heroes, but some rare and epic items are exclusive to specific heroes, and these special hero items are designed to enhance a specific weapon, ability, or other part of your hero's identity that's unique to them. For example, Orisa has an item called Oladel Copter Blades, where she'll be able to use Javelin Spin to literally fly short distances. That's the helicopter. She spins. It was an April Fool's thing too, where they implemented that in the game. Mei also has a unique item which allows her to be frozen, speed skate her way to the front lines after she equips Snow Boots hero item, right? You put you hold your primary fire on the ground, you make some ice trail, and then you walk faster on it. Ana's enemies will think twice before diving her when she upgrades her sleep dart with the tranquilizer hero item that increases its hitbox by 500%. Next section is called Make a Quick Buck. So at the start of the game, you'll receive 3,500 stadium cash, which is enough to equip 3 common items for your hero. You will earn additional stadium cash after every round, regardless of a win or a loss. The better you play, the more stadium cash you will earn as you deal damage, heal, provide assists, or secure eliminations. After each round, whoever performs the best and scores the most cash will be the round MVP and earn a bonus of 1,000 stadium cash. If your team is falling behind, you can get right back into the game quickly with a huge boost to your bank when you eliminate an enemy with a high bounty. All heroes begin with a bounty value of 300, and if you eliminate an opponent, your own bounty increases by 75. Anyone that has like a huge impact in the game will quickly raise their bounty value. If a hero has a bounty value of 750 or more, they are marked in the team bar on the top of the gameplay HUD, the heads-up display. The maximum bounty is 2,000 extra stadium cash. You can also check the scoreboard to see what value for each hero is at any time. Should you participate in the shared elimination of an opponent, a portion of that bounty is added to your stadium cash based on how much you contributed to that elimination. So we have a screenshot here. You can see the Zarya. It has a 1650 bounty on her because she's probably like farming like crazy this round and just getting so many elims. So if you kill her, you get a nice little bonus. So after being eliminated, your bounty value will reset back down to 300. Don't worry if your teammate is being heavily targeted, because heroes who are at the 300 bounty value when they're eliminated will lose 100 bounty and go down to 200 as a result. So next, earning as much stadium cash as possible will not only help you unlock more powerful items between rounds, it's also your key to increasing your survivability each round. In addition to your items and powers, you'll gain 1 max health for every 500 stadium cash earned, including what you have spent on items. So all heroes can gain or add an additional 300 max health throughout the full match, and tanks will gain speed and strength for every 250 stadium cash earned. So yeah, you'll notice everyone's scaling HP. Everyone's at like 3, 4, 5, 600 HP, almost 900 HP for this Junker Queen in this screenshot. But it makes sense because everyone's damage gets ramped up like crazy depending on what items they buy. So that's pretty cool. Watch your opponent's game plan. Throughout the game, you'll be able to see what powers and items your opponents are picking. This information will help you decide what items and powers you should be equipping. You'll be able to actively see what abilities are being picked during the armory phase of each round, but once selections are locked in, you'll know what tricks everyone has planned. So this little screenshot here is how you can spy on the enemy builds or your team builds. You can access this anytime during the game, and you can quickly glance and see who's scaling. Like for me personally, when you guys do this as well, and I notice like I don't know what any of the icons mean right now, but what I can tell is what people are speccing into based on the bar. So this Juno has 75% ability power. So it goes weapon power, ability power, attack speed, and then I think cooldown reduction is the last one. And then obviously their HP at the top. So I see Juno has a shit ton of ability power, then I'd quickly hover over that icon and I know she's doing a torpedo build where the torpedoes do like giga damage. So I could opt for more defensive options if I notice that Juno is one-shotting me, or this also tells me that Juno is super squishy, so I should try to focus her a little more. Reaper is actually opting for some tanky stuff. He has some armor here. So this is a good way to kind of get some information about your opponents and how they're speccing and how they're rounding out their build. Honestly, when you guys play Stadium for the first time, I didn't even look at this for the first like 20 games because there's a lot to learn as a new player. Then once you kind of get familiar with the game flow, you should, I honestly don't think it's that bad to just like start hitting tab and start looking. You don't have to understand everything, just glance and see what's problematic and, you know, see how squishy they are. And then you realize if you just buy one survivability item that can like neutralize a lot of the strength they have, it goes much smoother. Because I will say my first 20 games I went for pure glass cannon, all damage, and etc. And then I realized that like by round 6 I stopped killing them, and I'm like, why are they not getting one shot? Because I was winning all game or all the rounds before up until a certain point. Then I realized the opponent just bought one tank item, one survivability epic purple 10,000 cash item, and it just literally stopped my build right there. So counter building is a thing. That's basically what this next paragraph is. I basically just truncated it for you. Anyways, different heroes will have different solutions, so check the scoreboard to see how your enemies are building up with their heroes and work with your teammates to find powerful strategies that can counter them. So putting it all together. So now that we've gone over some key things to remember about using powers, items, and stadium cash effectively, let's dive into 2 examples on how you can combine them together to create a whole new way to play your favorite heroes. Soldier 76. When you focus Soldier 76's sprint and biotic field, you'll be spinning your enemies around in circles. Throughout the round, you can select a power that transforms your biotic field into a powerful AoE weapon, and that power is called Track and Field. And then there's another power called On Me, then there's one called Back Off, and then there's one called Frontliners. And when you combine these hero items with the item called Compression Fatigues and Rapid Response Radius, you don't actually need to shoot your enemies. You just run around in them in circles, and the biotic field sends damaging waves of energy onto your foes. So this is one build example. This is the biotic rifle football rugby build, where if you read what this does, it says, on me, you need to pick this power early, where biotic field moves with you as a soldier and gives you more life while it's active. And then you have to take Back Off, where enemies within your biotic field start taking damage equal to 100% of its healing value. So these two like start making it so you as a soldier stop shooting. You don't have to shoot anymore. Your biotic field is your DPS item now. They mentioned, what is it? Compression Fatigue. So if you buy this item with it, you get 25% sprint move speed. You have this one called Blue Battery or Battery Pack, which gives you 30% more biotic field duration while using sprint, gain over health equal to 5% of your max life. There's one here where it says dealing ability damage applies 30% healing reductions, because obviously the soldier thing is a healing reduction. This is a pretty cheap build, 43,000. That's actually attainable by like round 5. There's another KarQ example here that I won't go over because this video is getting a little long, but that's the whole idea of these stadium builds. Now let's get into the final piece of the article. All right, so here are the frequently asked questions for stadium. So again, matchmaking in stadium. Is there an open queue format for stadium? The answer is no. Stadium is made for 1 tank, 2 damage, 2 support heroes, 1-2-2. Open queue is not supported. You can, however, select flex when you queue, just like regular role queue, and it'll just assign you to a role so you can get into a game as quickly as possible. Question 2, is there an unranked version for stadium? The answer is no. Stadium is only available as a ranked mode with these new ranks that we saw earlier. But the stadium ranking system is designed differently to competitive play. You can check the details out here. Can I group with my friends no matter their rank? The answer is yes. There are no grouping restrictions or wide queues for stadium. Oh, this is just quick play with extra steps then, if this is the case. Next, for the heroes. When will there be new heroes added to stadium? Their answer is they have plans to add new heroes every season. Next frequently asked question. Why can't I hero swap? Won't I risk getting countered by an opposing hero? The answer is due to the array of items and powers in stadium, you'll want to focus on adjusting your build if you find yourself at a disadvantage. Every hero will have items and powers that can assist their team against all sorts of compositions and opposing builds. Let your creativity guide you. I see what you did there. Next, will there be hero bans in stadium? The answer is no. Hero bans are exclusive to regular competitive play only. Yes, hero bans are coming to season 16, by the way. Items, powers, and stadium cache. I accidentally equipped a power I didn't want. Can I go back and change it? The answer is no. Powers cannot be changed once selected. To avoid accidentally locking in the wrong power, the game will confirm you are ready to choose a specific power that you have selected. Once it's locked in, you will have to use that power for the remainder of the match, so choose carefully. Next, how can I tell how much a specific combination of powers and items will cost? So again, powers have no cost. The slots to equip power are unlocked every other round. So remember, round 1, 3, 5, and 7, which gives you up to 4 powers if you reach round 7. Best way to calculate the total item cost is to go to the practice range and try out different combinations of heroes and powers and to plan your strategy. So yes, there is a base template training range mode where you can make your build and then just be in the practice range. Next frequently asked question, can I give some of my leftover stadium cash to a teammate to help them unlock an item? The answer is no. The stadium cash earned cannot be exchanged between players. This helps keep things fair by not giving a single player too much currency too quickly and encourages all players to do their best every round. For ranking and rewards, can I play just enough games to reach pro, all-star, or legend ratings regardless of winning or losing? So they're basically asking, can you climb with a negative win rate? Not necessarily. So after climbing past elite, you can lose the same amount of potential rank as you gain in every given match. To climb into high ranks, you will need to consistently win more games overall. So why are these skill rating tiers different in stadium than competitive play? Why is it called all-star, elite, and legend instead of like platinum, diamond, grandmaster? In competitive play, like base core game Overwatch, you're quickly sorted to your skill tier and division based on your internal matchmaking rating, aka your MMR. But in stadium, you actually start at the bottom of the rank ladder and work your way up to the highest skill tier that you can reach. To keep from getting too complicated and explaining their algorithm, the skill tiers from competitive play and stadium are different from one another. So this is like the Marvel Rival system where everybody starts bronze 3, and Apex system, and everybody kind of is in one lump, and you kind of all move up together, which means you gain a lot more than you lose in the early ons, and once you reach a certain average, it starts to even out. And that's how it is for Rivals, where it's like Once you get Celestial, it flattens out, but like you can get to the Grandmaster tier by making huge gains and minimal losses for a certain point. The base Overwatch MMR system, like outside of it, is pretty good at smurf detecting, and you can quickly calibrate way quicker there. Can I earn the epic skin rewards for Stadium through another mode? The answer is the epic skins for reaching Elite League or All-Star League can only be earned in Stadium. Do I earn competitive points for playing Stadium? And the answer is yes. When you win a game in Stadium, you'll earn 10 competitive points towards unlocking weapon variants like your Jade weapons and the Galactic weapons. Will playing Stadium count towards progress when there is a competitive drive event? Unfortunately, no. Only competitive play matches, so regular ranked, count towards your competitive drives. Can I earn the other rewards in competitive play in Stadium? And the answer is those rewards are earned when you reach a specific rank in regular competitive play and cannot be collected in Stadium. So what happens when a player leaves the game or disconnects? So the missing player will have a few minutes to return to the game. If they don't return to the game in a timely manner, the match will end as a no contest. Neither team receives a win, loss, or draw, and the match will not count on your career profile. The remaining players will earn Battle Pass XP progression for their time played, but no progress on their Stadium rank or competitive points will be granted. But the players who do leave will receive the same suspensions as they do in competitive. Getting a season suspension or banned in either competitive play or Stadium will lock you out of both game modes for the remainder of that penalty. I know because like backfilling, I understand the reasoning why like Stadium is ranked only, mostly because of when you make a build and somebody backfills for you, that it can't work because the new player can't make the same build, right? They're kind of locked into something. What's stopping someone from being like, yeah, I quit, and then maybe they rejoin and then they get to reshuffle their powers, which you're not supposed to be able to be unequipped. So the only solution is to backfill as that hero and start with their powers and then maybe sell all these Stadium cash, and then you can kind of work with that. But then again, like why I don't want to queue Stadium to backfill on a hero I don't want to play, you know what I mean? So like I get why they're opting for like hard ranked only, not casual, so nobody leaves because they don't want people to they don't want leavers in this game. But that being said, I do wish they did at the same time. Like I'm weighing the pros and cons, because if they did add a more casual quick play mode for Stadium, it would allow me to try stupid wacky builds. But you know how sweaty people will be getting later if you climb in the ranks, and I can't mess around with like stupid Zarya like flying bubble build, you know what I mean? People be like, oh my god, like this build is like so memey and so gimmicky, it's so bad, blah 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 blah, and people are like, oh, my rank is on the line, I want the skin. There's pros and cons to having casual and competitive. Maybe they start this season with competitive only, and then in the future they add quick play for Stadium. Hopefully they do. All right, final 3 questions. Will perks be available in Stadium? No, perks are not enabled in Stadium. Instead, you'll be powering up the heroes with items and powers. Can I spectate a Stadium game in progress? Because Stadium is a ranked mode, spectating live games is not possible, but you can view the replays and career profile. And finally, can I start a custom game with the Stadium rule set? The answer is no, not at this time. We're still working on getting custom game features ready for Stadium and will be available in a future update. And that sucks for my content because I want to do Mythbusters for you guys. Like there's so many new interactions to test out, but I can't do it unless I like specifically queue up for a ranked game and ask somebody to test an interaction. That goes against the spirit of ranked competitive play, because like I can't assume like all 9 players are going to cater to me to test whether Diva's boosters that shoot out molten goop from her butt, can I matrix that? I don't know. Like I have to find a Diva that on the other team that's willing to take that damn power, which she can't sell anyways, so I can try one test. You know what I mean? Like it's not a realistic ask, so I can't do content like that. There may be times where I'm able to just accidentally test stuff and be like, yeah, okay, this interaction works, but like I can't get footage and show that stuff off. So maybe Stadium Mythbusters are gonna have to wait for a while. All right, and that's it for these articles. Stadium again, available Tuesday, April 22nd. Hopefully you listened to me all the way to the end, and if you did, type Zarya BBL. Please drop the guide. Okay, bye.